I am terrifying in the Chucky suit. I am terrifying. First of all, my head was too big, so I couldn't look out the eyes. I had to look out the mouth. So Chucky's already coming out.
Could you imagine like some kid looking in Chucky's mouth and just some eyes?
Oh yeah. But that's what it was. Literally, I come out and Chucky, the head of Chucky.
You want to take it from here?
Yeah. Welcome to the watering hole.
That was way too loud.
That was way too loud?
Way too loud.
Son of a bitch.
One more time.
Welcome. Was that too loud? How do I say it quietly? Welcome to the watering hole. Please grab a drink and join us.
Apparently it's gonna be apparently it's gonna be like an Irish porter.
ASMR. Welcome to the watering hole. Please, you got to get the mouth sound. Mm-hmm. Please join us at the.
Oh, that's gonna drive some people nuts.
They're gonna hate it.
They're gonna. Oh, it's like when people are chewing. It's like when people are. It's like when people are chewing on mic, and it's like.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's like, oh,
it's gross. It's gross. Nathan hates it because he says, Freddie, you're the only person who chews a banana and makes it loud.
What? Do you?
Apparently. But here's the deal. It's because my teeth,
what's wrong with your...
Because I bite it and it's soft and then you hear the...
But it's only bananas. It's not like mashed potatoes. It's not like...
It's mainly bananas. Bananas just,
Your teeth don't get in the way of anything else.
They shrink back from my teeth, so they're very... I split right through it. Is this? Are we?
Yeah,
we
baby.
in it?
Yeah, baby. We're in it.
Okay. Hey,
if anyone was thinking that this is like that when me and Freddie are on the podcast, we're different. No, like that. Freddie could not tell the difference between if we were on or not.
I didn't know. I don't know what's gonna make it in the thing. Hey, bud. It's a good week.
Oh,
it's a good day.
Every day you wake up and you take a breath is a good day.
It's a good day.
Every day, every week is a good week.
Oh yeah. I've been putting in a lot of work. It's been like 30 hours in the last 3 days. But I was driving around.
Well, I was living with it for you in a minute. For anyone who's just listening to this, Freddie did a little hand action, and I felt like I was in the car with him.
I was driving around. I was just doing my Instacart stuff. Vroom, vroom.
I need you to do some like Tom Waits type action. Where like,
driving around in a Honda Accord. Chicago. No, but I was driving around, and you see, LA obviously has a pretty extreme homeless issue, and driving through some neighborhoods, and there was a bus stop, and I remember when my car broke down last year, and I gotta say, with Thanksgiving having just come on by, I am thankful for a ton of shit. Mm-hmm. Life ain't that bad. Mm-hmm. It really isn't.
I mean, it's pretty terrible.
No, it's not. No. Not for us. even with the stresses that we have, it really feels like there's a lot to be thankful for. And so
before we get into that, because that's a good topic, I really want to talk about that, but I also want to crack this bottle real quick.
Another thing I'm thankful for.
Hey! Just for anyone that's listening, this bottle is a gift from a good friend of mine who was actually my director of the play that I did 2 years ago. Wow. Yeah, 2 years ago. December 9th was our last. It was a 6-week run at the Pacific Palisades Theater. It's just a cute community theater. December 9th was our last show of that 6-week run. Now it's December 1st.
I can't believe that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, so anyone knows, we're filming this now on December 1st. So this will probably hit a couple weeks from now. So yeah, it's been 2 years.
2 years.
Wild.
That kind of dates even back around that time is when you and I first started hanging out.
Right, because you wanted to come to see the play.
Yeah.
I didn't know you well enough to know if I could trust you.
This dumb bitch, I kept trying to see the play. I was like, dude, I'll come see the play. I'll support you. Like, I want to come see the play. He was like, no, I'm getting a whole group. Why did I almost started diving into Trump there. I was like, no. But he was like, no, I'm going to get a whole group of people from work. They're all going to go. You can go with them during that. And I was like, okay, cool. I guess I won't go this day. And then it just kept happening like that. And then it was like, yep, we're closing now. No one ever came. And I was like, cool.
I legitimately wanted that group, and we just never organized it. But like,
anyway, so
nowadays, now that I'm friends with you, like actually friends with you,
you do something now.
I would be like, dude, be there opening night. I'd be like, go. If we're doing a group thing, see it twice.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, 2 years ago, man. That flew by.
My buddy Brandon directed the play, And he's been a big fan of the podcast. He's been a big supporter of it, and I love the love that he showed us. It's been wonderful. He's always answering questions that we have on social media, and we really appreciate your support, Brandon. And thank you for this gift. He gave us we got to choose what it was, and so based off of a couple of factors, we ended up going with this bad boy.
Say it.
Don't fucking make me say it. Don't make me say it.
Say it.
How about you say it?
No. You're holding it.
No.
Say it.
Hey, buddy, just feel the weight of that. Oh, you're holding it.
That's meaty. That's meaty.
How do you say that's on that label?
I'm not afraid to dive into this. This is Herradura.
See, here's the thing. I know how to say it, but once you start putting pressure, once you start putting pressure on someone to say something, it sounds ridiculous.
There's 2 R's. Herradura. Herradura. The thing is, I think it's Herradura, but I feel like I sound stupid when I say it.
That's what I'm saying.
Herradura. Reposado. Because this earlier he was saying Reposado.
I kept putting an S where there is no S. Regardless, we're not here to pronounce it. We're here to taste it.
Yes,
and
we are.
we're very excited to enjoy this over the rocks.
Let's cheers to this real quick.
Okay.
Cheers to Brandon. Thanks for the support. Brandon. We love you very much, man. I love seeing your comments and your engagement. It means a lot to us.
Cheers, bro. Love you, man.
All right. Okay. So Brandon.
Yeah, I still see all my castmates and stuff like that. I still talk to them a lot, and they are constantly talking about the support that he shows them on their own individual efforts, other artistic endeavors that they've gone on, or things that they're trying to start. Like, this man is nothing but support for the people. So he's the type of director that you kind of hope that you get in life. You know, you kind of like most directors, they see an actor and they work with them.
You're just a tool to them.
Yeah, you know, and they're probably like really nice, and you know, I've had plenty of directors that are very nice, but I don't talk to them after the project is done. We had a great working relationship, but that was all that it was, you know. He's just the type of person that kind of always keeps people in his mind and his heart. Yeah. And so
sounds like a good dude.
Great dude, and he is just he's very, very good at getting the most out of his actors in a relationship type setting. Like, he's very good at being able to just play with whether that's a friendship or that's a relationship in the scene, really just allowing the actors to play and have fun and try to find the levels to that relationship. Some directors, they're just the type where they're just like, say the words, move on, okay, cool. No, like, he's cool just sitting down with you guys. Like, we've had plenty where it's just like me and Mariel and Brandon, just us three, just grinding and working and playing, and you don't get a lot of directors like that. So he's, I know that he recently was back at the Pacific Palisades. He did a production of Steel Magnolias, which I got to go see, which was wonderful. I know he had plans to direct something this fall, but obviously with COVID, it's just impossible. It's, you know, that's the story. But I know the moment that all this stuff, once we get live theater back and everything, I know Brandon's gonna be hitting it hard, and I'll be first in line to see his show.
Sweet, but love it,
love that, man. Thank you again,
Tequila
Brandon.
Man. It feels good when you look around. I feel like we got a good group of people surrounding us.
Yes.
You know, just the people who have listened so far, the people who've shared, and it's been good. We talk about it at the end of the podcast, and we say like and subscribe and download and stuff, and that helps us. But I can't tell you the emotional gratification to just know that there's people out there who are listening, and they actually listen to the point where they can talk to us about that stuff. And damn, Nathan's over here, you know, what's the thing you said in the last podcast? You said this, and I'm like, you can't use me against me.
Yeah, like, well, that's what you're gonna have. That's what you're gonna have, baby.
But it's great, you know. And Brandon's just one example of the love we felt, and it feels good. We feel the love.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of wild, actually, the amount of support that we've gotten from people. I didn't expect it. Like, you share shit on your stories all the time, but like, once we started actually putting it out there, the amount of people that were listening to it, that were sharing it, that were popping up on our stories, it was very surprising. So we appreciate each and every one of you guys, because at this point right now, a lot of you listeners are our close friends, our close colleagues, and if you weren't listening, nobody's listening.
Nobody.
So we really
just looking into each other's eyes for 45 minutes.
We do that anyway, so it's not
what it is.
You know, we just thought we'd put it on the mic. and on camera, but we'd be doing it. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I feel like if you're gonna start a podcast, you're the type of person that's just gonna talk no matter what. You just happen to put a freaking mic in front of you.
It's true.
Like, all of our friends are not surprised that we started a podcast.
Yeah, I used to work at Chuck E. Cheese. That was one of my first.
Is that where you started interacting with all your customers?
Yeah. Well,
long conversations in the ball pit.
You get it. I used to work at Chuck E. Cheese. It was one of my first jobs, and then the manager there would say, if you put Freddie in the kitchen, he would talk to the oven.
I could probably see him saying that and having
I would
that
100%.
Yeah.
That same guy lost his job because he was
surprise.
He was messing around with like a 16-year-old, and he was like 35.
Well, he was working at Chuck E. Cheese.
As if that's just supposed to happen at Chuck E. Cheese.
No, I'm not saying it shouldn't have happened, but people probably should have seen the signs. Like, it doesn't have to be like, if you're working at Chuck E. Cheese, it doesn't mean that that's what you're gonna do.
I hope not.
But if you exhibit maybe you make some questionable jokes, maybe you exhibit some other behavior, maybe someone should start connecting the dots.
Dude, Chuck E. Cheese was a weird experience for me.
I bet. It sounds like a roller coaster.
There was a one day where I pulled an all-nighter, okay? And it's because I went, me and some girl, I got off of work from Chuck E. Cheese, and I got,
she 16?
I got pizza. She was not, thank you very much. I got some pizza, right? Because I got free pizza. I got the hookups at the Cheese, you know?
And that was good pizza.
And we met in the park.
Good pizza.
It was good pizza, yeah. We met in the park, and I was like, I got some pizza. Let's just chill. We were hanging out. And then I drive her home, and then she gives me, we end up kissing, right? And I was like a little boy, all these butterflies in my stomach. I was like, ooh,
my man.
Kiss me. And so I immediately drive to Nathan's house, and I was like, yo, man, this girl kissed me, and I'm on cloud 9. I can't go to sleep. We're hanging out now. I know that sounds weird that a girl kissed me, and my first thing is to go to Nathan's house, but I just knew I couldn't
sleep. And to be
sleep.
like, Nathan, I can't go to sleep.
I can't. And so he was like, dude, come over. We had some drinks. I think we were hanging out and we ended up having an all-nighter, right? And about like 8 or so, and I realized I got to be at work at like 9. I'm delusional. And I got to go to work at 9. So I go into work, and I'm like, I'm a walking zombie. And the dudes at Chuck E. Cheese are like, what's going on, Freddie? And I'm like, I pulled an all-nighter. I have not slept. He looks at me, and he goes, you want some cocaine?
Wait, this is the dude who was dating 16-year-old?
No, different guy.
Okay.
You're just one of the game.
I thought I was about to be like, this dude's a trainer.
Yeah, and he was like, you want some cocaine? And I was like, and then he was like, is that a no? And I was like, yo, you serious? And he was like, yeah, everyone does it. It's how we stay pepped up. Okay. And now I turned it down, but it was like a known thing. Like everyone there was like, that's how they stayed uppity. It was cocaine.
The animatronics that you see, they're actually not animatronics for your Chuck E. Cheese. They were people snorting some cocaine in there.
And then one day, so they have the number one question I get every time people know that I worked at Chuck E. Cheese is they ask, were you ever in the costume? Okay, here's the deal. 300 and odd pounds, okay, 6'2", you're not supposed to be in the costume. It's not made for you. It's not fit for you. One day, we're doing the show. Chucky's supposed to come out. I realize I'm one of the birthday people. I realize that no one's in the room. The Chucky who's supposed to come out, and the countdown's coming down in like 30 seconds. No one's in the room.
A bunch of birthday kids are gonna be disappointed.
Exactly. And so I'm on the thing like, we got a code red. Chuck E. Cheese is not there. We got a code red, and they're like, we have no one.
I really want there to be a code for that.
Right. And then I'm like, what's gonna happen? Someone needs to get in the Chucky suit, and they're like, no one's there. He's at merch. This person's at the no one could do it.
Before you know it, all these children are gonna be going to Jokers.
Exactly. And I'm freaking out, and I'm like, you kidding me? Where is the person? And so I have to go in the room, and I got to put on the Chucky outfit.
No,
brother.
You know, in the right movie setting, this would be very dramatic.
I am terrifying in the Chucky suit. I am terrifying. First of all, my head was too big, so I couldn't look out where you're supposed to look out.
How could your head be too big?
My head's massive.
I don't think that it's like I feel like they should have made that a one-size-fit-all situation.
I put on the helmet, and I couldn't even look out the eyes. I had to look out the mouth. So Chucky's already coming out.
Could you imagine like some kid looking in Chucky's mouth and just some eyes?
Oh yeah. But that's what it was. Literally, I come out and Chucky, the head of Chucky, is just sitting tilted up. And then what's even worse is my arms are too long for the sleeves. No. And so it was pulled back, and there was just brown skin in between Chucky's fur.
So wait, there's like gray fur.
So you put on the shirt.
No, there's gray.
You have there's
gray fur, brown skin, and then gray hands.
And then like this little kid comes up and he touches my skin. Like, what's this? And I was like, get the fuck out of here, kid.
You go, that's what Chucky looks like with a burn. Like,
exactly.
I'm a burn victim.
And the worst
skin grab.
It was like an even split, right? Some of the kids were like mesmerized. Look at the brownie mouse.
This is in Colorado?
Yeah. They were mesmerized. What's happening? Chucky's 8 feet tall. Some kids were completely like, oh my God. Like, they're terrified and they're mesmerized. What's funny is it felt like I got the same vibes from the adults. Some adults were like, what do we have here? And other adults were like, what's happening?
There were probably some really like sexually oppressed mamas who were like, man.
They're like, I didn't know this about my honey. We have some homework to do.
I didn't know that Chucky looked so grown up.
Oh, yeah. It was I was like an 8 foot tall Chucky. I came out there just brown skin showing.
You're like, I'm here to save the day.
Terrifying.
Here to save the day.
Oh, yeah. That had to be led by the other people who were with me because I couldn't see.
You're like a blind person.
Oh, yeah. I would have squashed a kid.
You should have acted like you were like some like decrepit old Chucky. Then you need like a cane.
That's a sad Chucky. I just ruined a kid's birthday with that.
Like, Chucky
aged, Mom. Chucky doesn't. He's not as spry as he used to be.
You have like all these employees. I love how there's like all these employees that were gonna help you,
but they couldn't hop in.
But they couldn't hop in.
Yeah,
when they were regular
we were
sized
all looking
people.
around like, who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it? And I'm like, you can't. After that, I lost my shit on everybody. I was like, you can't put me in the trucker suit. I got my brown skin showing.
Bro.
I'm 8 foot tall.
Bro, you don't.
Mad.
But you also do not do well in heat. Was that suit hot?
Hot. There is no filtration, just hot. I came out just swampy, like it was gross. Gross.
Jesus, bro. Jesus.
Cheers
man.
to the cheese, bro.
Cheers to no longer having to do that.
Right?
I mean, that's one of the things, though. When we're looking at like what we're grateful for, sometimes it's just as simple as not having to get into a goddamn Chuck E. Cheese outfit that is way too small for you.
Oh, way too small. I'm thankful, man.
You're thankful.
I'm thankful.
So you were driving around town today and just seeing, because that's what you do see in LA. You see that a lot. I cannot tell you the
crazy contrast.
I used to Instacar all the time in downtown because Katie used to work in downtown. So I would be sometimes in Skid Row delivering stuff. You have to park your car in Skid Row. You have to, or at least you're a block from it. And the homeless problem is insane. It's like The Walking Dead out there at Skid Row at times. It is literally just people walking all over the roads. No, like you're just trying to drive through. Sometimes it feels like crowds of people. And you just think to yourself, because then you'll go a few blocks and you'll be delivering some luxury condo.
Oh, yeah.
The wealth disparity in this city is crazier than I've seen in any other city. I have no idea about New York, but that's the only one that I could think that would even be slightly comparable. But it's literally like you go from a ramshackled, destroyed building, and then 2 buildings later, it's some luxurious condominium.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy when you're doing Instacart where you have the 2 orders and you have to separate.
We talked about the Robert thing.
The first order is one thing, and it's that shack, and then you're I'm going up the hill.
Yeah,
and next thing you know, you're like, why is there security to enter this place? And suddenly there's this man. Me and Amanda, she was with me. We delivered to a place. She looked it up, $23 million house. Mm-hmm. The order before that was a little apartment.
I mean, I delivered to Dan Blazarian's house. Seeing his freaking like compound, seeing just like the freaking, it was insane. And that's literally just right outside your door when you live in LA. The wealth disparity is so insane. And so there is a lot where it's weird because in literally a few miles, you can go from being thankful for where you are, because you see people having a way worse time than you for many different reasons, but you're seeing, and you obviously hope that they're going to get the help that they need. You're not like coming down from some like, I'm better than you.
Place,
no. It's like legitimately a thing where you go, I'm grateful for what I do have because
it's just perspective. It gives you more perspective.
Perspective is a great word for it. And then within a couple of miles, you can go to, I know where I want to go. Like you can find inspiration and gratitude within a 2-mile drive in LA. And it's all because of the environment that is literally surrounding you. It's wild.
Yeah. I remember the first time, so I used to drive a little 2008 Chevy Cobalt. And I remember the first time I didn't take good care of my first car because I didn't appreciate it fully. Like I liked having it, but I didn't understand what it was like to be proud of your car. And I remember
the one that Nate Sean Got into the trash can incident?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really didn't. You didn't give a shit about that car.
I did not care at all. Nashon put a crack.
He cared
in the
about it
front,
more than you did.
And I was just like, it's whatever. That's character.
Yeah.
But I remember we used to go to this place called View House in Colorado. It was kind of like a restaurant during the day. They had a good outdoor area where they had a bunch of games and cornhole and volleyball. And then at night it turned into somewhat of a club. And so we would go there and they have a valet. And I remember back in the day, I'd take my 2008 Chevy Cobalt to the valet because I didn't understand that valet was a kind of a social thing. I thought it was just utility. I thought it was just...
You're like, I love this.
They're going to, $2, you can park my car. It's easy. And I remember the night that I walked out of View House and I had, everyone's around, and then I see this beautiful, I don't know what kind of car it was, but this beautiful car rolls up and it's clearly just so expensive. And someone gets, the valet guy comes out, he gets in with a girl and he drives, and I was like, oh wow. Like I wasn't even thinking about me. I was just thinking about how his life just looked good. He had the money, he had the girl, he had the valet. It was great. And then my car rolled up right after, and I went, oh, I'm gonna
tell you something, because there's one reaction to this, which is the stereotypical reaction, which is, oh my god. For me, that only made me want to be like insanely rich and then drive a crap beater car and drop it off the valet.
That would be pretty boss. Just let everybody just undervalue me. Underestimate me right now.
And it'd be even better if all those people know you. They know that you got that wealth, and you show up in just a 89 Toyota Camry type thing. Yeah. It's just beat all to hell. And even if it's just for the gag, it's the idea of fuck your perception. Fuck what your perception.
I wish I could have done that at the time.
I know
it took a hit to my. It was a blow.
I bet it did.
My self-esteem went.
That's the normal reaction, I guess, to that. But hearing right now that in my life, that pisses me off. That something that is generally, it's a courtesy. It's a hey, I don't want to find parking, or I can't find parking. Just gonna have someone more professional handle it and take care of it, and it's just one less thing off my dish, right? For that to then obviously naturally go to being a social thing, a red carpet walk for your car or your life, that pisses me off. And anytime,
pisses me off as well.
Anytime I see those uppity, pretentious rituals, it makes me, if I get to that level where I can partake in those rituals and be accepted in those groups, want to give the middle finger at the same time to those same pretentious rituals.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
There is some kind of aspect to that feels like the people who have the biggest voice against practices or establishments of that sort are the people who are on the inside. Those are the ones who can really say F you to the system.
Absolutely. It's really weird actually to think about how when we're talking about class and we're talking about what wealth, quote unquote, looks like, right? I remember reading recently, or was I listening to something? I'm sorry, I can't remember, but about how Silicon Valley changed the idea of wealth. Because a lot of these people in the 80s and 90s that made a lot of their money, most of the time it was in the stock market. It was, and so these people would be wearing suits. You'd go to Wall Street and you had a full-on suit on and, whatever, all this stuff. And people still have that today because that's how it used to be. But nowadays, a lot of the money is in startups. Nowadays, a lot of the money is in making apps. Or, if you're, Elon Musk, it's whatever the fuck you want. But these guys, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all of them, unless they're going to formal events, generally defy what we think of a successful person wearing, looking like. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same type of shirt every day, so he makes one less decision. Elon Musk is constantly in t-shirts and stuff like that. He's not wearing a three-piece suit over
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, and he's very
just like a bum, and he's worth half a bill.
And so there's this new age thing about it's kind of like they're used. It's the same thing in Hollywood, where actors used to have to dress up to go see their agents in suits. And there's actually an episode in Entourage where Johnny Drama, the older brother, who's not the movie star like his younger brother Vince is, he's going to an agent meeting because he's trying to get an agent at Vince's agency, and he's wearing a full-on suit, and Vince is in a complete casual tee, and everyone's hammering him. They're like, "What the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? Why are you wearing a suit?" And they are constantly joking about it. And it is this idea that what we think of when we think of wealth. Look at rappers. Look at a lot of people. Now that what they spend on has money for whatever reason. It's like Gucci, freaking sweatpants. But at the end of the day, they're like sweatpants and sweaters, and they're things that you don't think of when you think of wealthy.
There was a continue.
Well, I'll end it with this. Dolly Parton said it best. She says it takes a lot of money to look this cheap.
I like that. I like that quote. I like that quote.
That's where I'll end that little thought process with a Dolly Parton quote.
You know what's funny is it came and went so fast. I had a full-blown train of thought from what you just said. It came and then it went. Mm-hmm. That fast.
Just like all your hopes and dreams on Chuck E. Cheese outfit.
No.
You're just like, oh God.
Way to bring it back around. There was something that I wanted to talk about that I just got.
What was it, buddy?
I had it brought to my attention. The Millie Bobby Brown incident.
What Millie Bobby Brown incident?
It's maybe incident makes it sound too big, but it's something we need to discuss.
Did she kill someone again?
She didn't kill someone. Not again. She's learned her lesson.
Well, thank God.
But Millie Bobby Brown, I'm assuming everyone would know who she is, but she's the young actress who plays 11 in Stranger Things.
And Enola Holmes.
Enola Holmes. I haven't watched that yet, but I want to. But Enola Holmes, she's in Godzilla. She's a budding actress.
She's got that thing about her that is hard to explain. I guess people call it star quality. I don't know if that's the right word, but she's very. There's just something about the face.
She's charismatic. She's glowing.
Yeah, there's something about it where you just want to keep watching her.
Yeah. And so she was at a store, and I might mess up the story a little bit, but the basic gist of what happened is she is at a grocery store with I believe her mother, and someone comes up to her, and it's a fan, and they ask to record a video of her, and she goes, no. Now, I've heard stories of her that I don't know if they're true, so we don't know exactly how she said no, but either way, she said no to the recording of the video, and the person, I guess, was insisting that she get this video, and Millie was like, I'm a human being, and then the person apparently responded with, I can't record a human being, and so they continue to then record Millie. And she's in her car after this moment, and she's just kind of talking to the camera, and she starts crying, and she's like, I'm a human being. I don't want to be recorded. And it made me...
I have a lot of sympathy right now from what I'm hearing from Millie Bobby Brown, but the idea that she didn't want to be recorded, but she was saying this to a camera.
That is kind of funny. She didn't want to be recorded without her choosing to be recorded. It's a big distinction. It's not just a fear of cameras. But
she'd be in the wrong profession.
That's a weird thing. I'm an actor. I'm a good one, and I want to make movies. But those fucking cameras need to keep their distance.
I'm afraid of stages, and I'm afraid of cameras.
It's the way they look at me. I don't like the lenses. It's soulless. But she's in her car, and she's pleading, and she's crying, and she's like, I'm a human being. And it really, you hear so many stories about this where there's someone who meets a celebrity, and they're just so they get so enthralled with who this person is and what they mean to them that they forget the fact that this person is a human being, and they cross so many boundaries, which Millie was talking about, where like you insist and you cross this boundary, forgetting that that they are a human being. And it brings up this idea that we have some weird idea of what celebrity's obligation is to us, what a celebrity's obligation is to us. And it's completely self-imposed as far as the obligation from us to them. Like we make it up, no one agreed to it, and then we give it to them. And it's complete and utter bullshit, in my opinion. To me, the agreement as a creator starts with, I decided to make something. Okay, you paid to receive the thing that I make. You can enjoy that thing as much as you want. Listen to the song I made again and again and again. Watch the movie I made again and again and again. Do with it what you will. Okay, that art is now yours to have. But not who I am. Not me as a person. Not my soul. Not my freedom. I made an art. You accepted the art. You do with the art what you want. But you still have to maintain some sovereignty of self. And I feel like we forget that.
Where was this?
I don't know. I don't know where this was. I don't know where this was.
Because I would say, she is English. I don't know exactly where in England. I wonder.
I think she lives here though.
That's what I'm wondering. Was she like back in England? Like, because you don't. Again, everything's an outlier, so I don't know exactly if this is true, but I will say that New York and LA are two places where people tend to have a very general etiquette of celebrities because we're so used to seeing them here. You know, for someone who's, and probably what that person was, if she was in LA, they're probably not from LA. I probably guarantee you there were some tourists and they're like, oh, I found a celebrity. Oh my God. I can't wait to go back to Twin Peaks, Minnesota and tell this to my family. You know, I'm going to get a picture of me and Millie Bobby Brown and be like, oh my God, I was here for a whole week in LA and I already saw a celebrity. Like they're going to like,
it's like a zoo.
Yeah.
There's literally a tour bus that says,
it.
let's drive you around. Look, there's a celebrity. Look,
the Star Guide tours where they take them to their freaking houses. Imagine getting your morning newspaper and you're in your fucking underwear and robe and 20 people come up.
It's weird, man. It's a weird social.
But I will say that the people who live here, many times I've seen celebrities in public, and it's almost like everyone cautiously just avoids them. Like, I remember when I told you this story before, when I was at Whole Foods, and Mike Epps was behind me. And I intentionally didn't say his name. I intentionally treated him like he was any other person talking to me at Whole Foods. So when he was joking with me as I'm like bagging my shit, and he's like joking, I can't remember what it's been like a year and a half since that incident. So I don't remember what we were joking about, but he was joking. Me and him were just like riffing back and forth for a few seconds. And I was like, hey, you have a good one. And he was like, yeah, you have a good one. Like, I didn't say have a good one, Mike. I didn't say like, cause I don't know him.
Yeah.
I know who he is, but I don't know him.
So I feel like people don't have that etiquette. A lot of people don't.
I feel like a lot of.
I do agree.
I feel like
I think
a lot.
People in LA are more used to it than others.
Because you see it so many times. You see so many celebrities. Like you've had your run-ins with them. Britney's had her run-ins with them. Like people, and I feel like when you live here, you know. Now, obviously, there are gonna be people who live here, and they're still gonna be assholes because people are assholes. But I do feel like a lot of those. That's why I'm just curious where it was filmed.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious. I would just be shocked if it was in LA, and if you found out that person lived in LA, because I would see that being more of something from someone, because really, even when you live in LA, seeing a celebrity that you really like is very rare. A lot of times you'll see celebrities that you go, oh, I know that person.
Yeah.
But you're not like a huge fan of them, right? So it is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Yeah. And so I can see why sometimes people feel the urgency of the matter, but that you cannot, but that is not to be mixed up with the fact that, like she said, she is a human being.
Well, you know what? Here's the backwards part of it. Is that it? So I compared it to a zoo, right? And when I say that, I'm disgusted. This idea that you're like viewing these people as animals, like this amazing creature you don't normally get to see. You've seen it on television, but you haven't seen it in person. And so like if you're going to Yellowstone and you see a moose, you're like, oh my God, it's a moose. Take all the pictures. Or a bear, or when you go to the zoo and you see a lion, it's like these moments where it's this thing that you don't normally get to see. And so it's an amazing moment and you want to remember it. I understand that. It makes me sick when I say that, but the other part of it is that it's so much like that. Where it's this incredible person, as in incredible in the way that you've seen what they can do. They've impacted you in some way. Yeah. You have this admiration for who they are and what they are, and you have a moment where you get to see them up close in person.
I just thought of something really funny because it's all about perspective that you're talking about. Sorry to interrupt you, but did you see the video of Tom Holland being interviewed by the Watch Mojo lady?
No.
It's so funny. You gotta look it up. Anyone, look for this up. It's Tom Holland and his co-star, the guy who plays Ned, right? And they're doing the Spider-Man just junket. So they're talking to all the reporters, every single one of them. You sit how junkets work. If no one's familiar, as actors will sit down for, they'll be corralled from like space to space to space, and they talk to the reporters and get asked the same questions for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. So it's kind of a grueling, grinding, mind-numbing task. Well, they sat down. And they didn't realize, but they heard the voice of the Watch Mojo intro lady who goes, welcome to Watch Mojo, like whatever her intro is, right?
Yeah.
And they light the hell up. Zendaya was with them, too. Zendaya was the least enthusiastic, but Ned and the guy who plays Ned and Tom Holland were stoked. Tom's like, you're the Watch Mojo lady. And she's like, yeah, how'd you know? Because I don't think she was interviewing from Watch Mojo. She's like, yeah, how'd you know? He's like, oh my God, I'm a huge fan of yours. He's like, can you do the intro? Can you do it? And so she like on camera had to do the welcome to Watch Mojo, like her intro for the videos. What's funny to me about that is arguably you say the Watch Mojo lady, you say Tom Holland. Tom Holland is the bigger name. Tom Holland is the star, and he is the one being interviewed. But he was starstruck by something that impacted his life with the Watch Mojo lady.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just it's just funny to me because even celebrity, like, that's such a random thing to be starstruck by, but that's something you would tell a celebrity. Do that line. Do that line that you do in that movie.
Frank Caliendo had something similar happen. You know who that is?
No.
He's the guy who would do the Madden impressions in Mad TV. He's really he did George Bush. He's really good impressionist, right? And he went and he went to maybe a Comic-Con or something like that, and Chris Evans was there, and I'm forgetting his name. Thanos.
Josh Brolin.
Gotcha. And they were all there, a bunch of different Marvel guys, and he's like talking to Josh Brolin, then Chris Evans comes up, and Frank Caliendo has his daughter with him. And Frank Caliendo is, if you watch Mad TV, he's great. He's a wonderful impressionist, but he's not as known.
Not a household name. I didn't know him. But
and so he goes, his daughter's already impressed that he can even get to talk to these people in the first place. Yeah. And so Chris Evans comes over and he's like, do I know you? And he was like, oh, I'm Frank Caliendo. And Chris Evans has this moment of like, he realizes who he is. And he's like, oh my God, you're the guy who does the thing. And Frank Caliendo talks about like looking to his daughter and he's like, see, Daddy's not.
But it's interesting because all of that is, again, perspective. Like how a regular person acts when they see a celebrity can also equally act. Like that excitement does take over. It's just more funny when you see it from someone where like you are as equally, if not more famous. So why are you so starstruck by that person? But to go back to the Millie Bobby Brown scenario, there's always going to be two school of thoughts with it. And I don't agree with one of them, but there are the two school of thoughts. Well, the first one is, well, you're a celebrity and you chose this life. You chose to be an actress, so you forfeit your rights for privacy. That you see it a lot when nudes get leaked, right? They're like, well, don't be a public figure. It's like, well, don't. And then they'll inevitably be like, don't take naked pictures of yourself when you're famous. And it's like, well, how about people don't hack their fucking phones? It's one of those things where there's always going to be well, you chose to be a celebrity. And then there's how I think is the right way to view it, which is that even because of their career choice, it doesn't matter. You treat them as a person with the same respect that you would show any other stranger. And I think people are ultimately, a lot of celebrities are very, very patient and kind with fans, as long as you show them that same level of patience and respect and kindness. And a lot of times, there's like general rules, like you don't do it when they're eating with their family. You don't come up to them in a restaurant if they're eating with their family. You don't interrupt them if they're, with their friends or something like that. But like if they stand up after, leaving with their family and they're kind of walking by you, just be like, hey, I really appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
There's levels to it and there's etiquettes to it. And I think a lot of celebrities are very cool with people being like coming up to them, being respectful about it. And it's when it crosses a line and people start making what's the word I'm looking for, where they're expecting things because I'm forgetting the freaking word for it right now. So anyway, it's whenever they come up here with an assumption of basically being like, because you're a celebrity, I get to do this. Let me stick this camera in your face and you're going to smile for it.
Entitlement?
There you go. Yeah, that's the word. Where people just feel entitled to things because they're a celebrity, and that's where it gets bullshit.
Yeah, well, Chris, I'm forgetting everyone's name. Not Chris Evans, but the other Chris. Star-Lord.
Pratt.
That's the guy.
You're so good at names. I'm not good at vocabulary. You're not good at names, apparently.
No, I'm terrible at it. But Chris Pratt was talking about how when someone wants to take a picture, he'll say no, but will you settle for a handshake? And I love that response, because it's about like, hey, no, I'll recognize you, I'll see you. Here's a handshake, but we don't, I'm not something to be just
my mind went straight to the gutter.
Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus.
Can I get a picture? No, but I'll give you.
Anyway, moving forward, cut him off.
I cracked myself up. This is why you're so lucky to be across the table from me.
It doesn't feel that way.
No, I guess that's just one thing that you're not appreciative of, and you should be more grateful for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like people, they have this weird sense of like people owe them something. And I've just never quite.
How would you handle it? So obviously we want to have our own successful careers. Where are the lines for you?
One of the big no-nos. I've thought about this a lot because ultimately I think I'd like fame. I think I would. I think I'd enjoy going around knowing that people recognize me for the thing that I chose to do and knowing that people enjoy it. I think ultimately I would be good at it and I would like it. But here's where I know my biggest no-no is if people were to treat the people who were with me, who were not in a creative field and well-known, as just a holding for a camera, or can you take a picture of us? So like if I'm walking somewhere,
so you'd be like if it's an inconvenience to the other people in your life that are not in that world.
So like if I'm walking around with Amanda, right? She has she's not in the creative in the creative field. So if I'm walking with her and I get to the point where I'm well known and someone's coming around, oh my God, it's you! I love the podcast or whatever it is they know me for, and they were like. And they just hand Amanda the phone like she's obligated to take a picture of the two of us now. That would drive me insane.
So you're saying that because she's not in a creative field. Well, how would you feel if you and me are walking and someone goes up to you and goes, Freddie, I love the podcast. Hey, you. I'll take the picture.
I would look at you and go, I got a voice. They like it's the velvety voice. No. It technically applies. It's just more unlikely.
A tear just falls as I take this picture.
Yeah, the same premise does apply there. It's just less likely, right? If you get famous and I get famous,
I figure
it's going to be the same situation.
Mostly went for the joke. I get it. I get
but there is that, like, if you treat the person who's with me as if they don't exist, I will have a significant problem with it. Like it's crossing a huge boundary. And then if I just ask anyone, like, you do have to understand, there is a certain idea that you have to understand what it is you decided to do. So if you are this famous person who makes music or you do films or whatever it is, and you have an audience of just millions and millions of people, they adore you, they love you, you know that you're famous. There is a certain level of understanding that you have to have. You can't treat like people as if like, how dare you recognize me? Right. You can't do that because it's not realistic. There was a time where this chick, I forget her name, but she was she's been in a lot of bigger movies. There you go again with names. I didn't even know her name at the time, but she came in and I was like, I know you're an actress, I know you're from somewhere, but she was a very beautiful woman, and I didn't want to ask her myself because I didn't want to come off as like I'm hitting on her or anything. I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable, and so the bartender who was serving her, I was like, hey, I don't want to make her uncomfortable. You're a woman. Can you just ask her, like, are you an actress, right? I wasn't going to approach her or anything like that. And there's so many different ways.
She thinks you're hitting on her because, hey, you an actress? And she goes,
I didn't want to have that happen. I just wanted to solve this mystery of where are you from? And the person says, hey, there's a coworker here who thinks that they recognize you from something they've watched. Are you an actress? And she goes, I don't feel comfortable answering that question. And I was very surprised at that answer. And I try to understand her side and understand her perspective. But I did have that initial thought of like, but you're an actress. You're in the spotlight, and I'm not even coming up to you. I'm just asking if you are who I think you might be. There's so many different ways to take it. Maybe she had a right.
I'm curious to see what would have happened if you had gone up to her. It feels like a weirder question to have someone be like, someone I know is wondering if they've seen you in something. Then
you think that might be where the uncomfortable part came from?
I have no idea because I wasn't there, but it does feel like, is that?
Do you think it would have been better though? She's a small white girl.
What do you guys think of the audience? If you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a comment down below about which way Freddie should have approached this. But in all seriousness, I think that I do think that there could have been a chance where you go, hey, like if you went up to her because you're a very personal and charismatic guy, and if you just were yourself with it and you just go, hey, I feel like I've seen you somewhere. Are you an actress? It might come off more, at least personal, at least more like, oh, I can start an engagement with this person. Whereas before, it feels like there's like some creeper watching you, and they're like,
I was just creeping in the corner, like, what's gonna happen?
Oh, you are an actress, great. When you walk to your car, don't look right. Like some guys just waiting, like, oh, we got her, we got the actress.
You are who I thought you are.
It like does feel kind of like this 3 degrees of separation or whatever, where it might have been. And maybe did you hear how the bartender asked the question?
I didn't hear exactly how.
She might have said it in a really awkward way. That really,
she could have.
Hey, so like,
there's a guy who's not. He's not going to come up and say hi to you himself. But he's around.
He's definitely not.
Sees
he's definitely
you
not like
now.
A huge black man that would like be able to overpower you or anything like that. But he's just curious. Like,
he's safe. He's safe.
He's completely safe.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it a third time. He's safe. Are you an actress or someone of other equal beauty?
Yeah, so I don't. So that situation is anecdotal, right? I don't know what the right thing to do there.
Because you felt the entitlement, if we're going with that word, of like you did choose to be an actress. Why are you being?
I did
like,
feel a little bit
weird?
of that. I was because I myself was like I want to respect your personal space. I don't want to come up to you. And maybe I'm forgetting another aspect and layer of it. Maybe it was creepy to ask someone else to ask. That's totally possible. But I do think that celebrities have to have a certain level of understanding that you're well received in a very expansive way, and you have to recognize that.
It's weird in life where you see how something looks, so you try to course correct how it looks or how it sounds. But the act of course correcting sometimes can make it more awkward. You know, like like in this scenario where you're just like, it's weird if I come up to her, but maybe I'll have someone else ask for me. And like, what if that was weirder?
Oh yeah,
you know. But
it's like if I'm alone in an elevator with a girl and I go, "Don't worry, you're safe." that makes her extremely uncomfortable, and she feels the furthest from safe. Like as soon as I say that, she goes the opposite direction. As soon as I mention you're safe, she is in danger.
Bro, even if you and me are in the elevator and you turn to me and say that,
don't worry. Hey, look at me. You're safe.
I'm just gonna be like,
safe.
I'm not safe.
Yeah, I used to walk people. The women I worked with at Earl's, I used to walk them to their car, and I would always make sure if it was the female I didn't know very well, I would always make sure to stop about 10 feet away from the car, because I would we'd walk to the car about 10 feet from the car. I'd go, "All right, you have a good night," and then I'd make sure to start walking away.
No, it's great. I get where you're going with that. That is wonderful. That is very gentlemanly.
Where's the butt? Because I can feel the butt. Where's the butt?
It's also so creepy too.
No, it's not creepy. No. You make sure someone gets there.
It's the visual. It's how you do it. I'm sure.
I don't just stop and just stare.
Like you're just walking.
I'm not like walking and then I just stop and go, "All right."
You just come right at you.
I can go no further.
Walk.
Yeah, there's not a barrier that hits me. Just sauntering, and then I'm like, I cannot. Where you go, I cannot follow.
Great madam. It besieges me to tell you this, but I cannot embark on the journey no
you any longer.
It's like I'm like a Lord of the Rings thing. You're like, this is as far as I can go, Mr. Frodo.
You must go on by yourself. No, it's a total like 10 feet from the car. I'm just kind of like, all right, you have a wonderful night. I'm giving my goodbye, and I only do it because I'm like, what's she gonna be thinking?
Right.
If I get to the car and there's any kind of hesitation, she's thinking, what are you gonna do? You're gonna make a move on me? You're gonna do this? I just want to make sure you're safe.
I think the moral of the story is no matter what you do, you're fucked.
I think that's where we're going.
That's where we're going with this. There's no right answer.
Millie Bobby Brown, you're dumb.
Millie Bobby
Let us
Brown.
take a video of you.
Here's the thing, Millie Bobby Brown. If you allowed him to take the video of you, you're easy and you're not a great celebrity. That's just no.
Yeah.
And if you didn't allow him to take the video of you, you're just a bitch. There's no winning.
And I mean, I get it. The situation's weird, but I've heard of stranger things. Oh, he said it. You mad?
I'm not mad.
You mad?
I'm not mad. I'm just really fucking disappointed.
All right, man.
Well, that's where we're gonna end it, baby.
Right there.
Hey, everybody! Thanks for listening, Brandon. Thank you again.
Cheers, brother.
For the drink.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for supporting the Watering Hole.
I saved a sip this time.
Cheers, brother. Everybody, follow us, download on Spotify. If you're listening to this on YouTube, let me take the drink. So there you go. I honored the cheers. If you guys are listening to this on YouTube, which we really appreciate, please just pop on over to Spotify real quick and just press the download button, just so that way the numbers really help us with our algorithms and just being able to keep track of how this podcast is possibly growing. I understand that a lot of people are really enjoying the video aspect of this, and that's wonderful, and keep supporting us however you feel you want to support us. But
it just helps out.
It really helps us out. So you don't have to listen to it twice unless you really love to, but just if you're listening on YouTube, just remember to go over to Spotify and just click that download button.
Every YouTube video is always going to have, if you go into the description box, there will always be a link to the Spotify channel.
Absolutely.
So it is one click away. Hit download. It helps us. But just you listen is just a damn good thing.
And I'm serious about leaving that comment. If you're on YouTube, leave that comment about how should a Freddie approach this. What would have been the better option here?
I want to hear how creepy I was.
I need to see. Yeah,
I want everyone to be like, dude, you're the weirdest man out there.
Did anyone else think
that
that was creepy?
I don't even have to be famous to know that you shouldn't have said that.
Because my apartment is pretty warm right now, but I got chills. All right, everybody. Peace out.
Thank you for joining.